Hello, YouTube. This is the Untitled Two Brothers podcast, and I'm Travis Dunn.
And I'm Stephen Dunn.
Today, we're gonna wing it. We just decided we're gonna bullshit on this one, so won't really be any major topics. We're just gonna talk off the cuff. Last week, unfortunately, we didn't end up having a podcast. I've been in the process of redoing the internet in my house. I ran like 3 new runs, and I basically did a kind of a mini cabinet in my utility room. So that's the reason we didn't end up having one last week. It was kind of messed up.
Yeah, I tried.
We tried.
I blame it on you.
It was my fault. Actually, I didn't get to tell you. I found out why I wasn't getting internet in the 2 rooms. I got a patch panel, right? Your standard, network patch panel. Yeah. And on that patch panel, you got all the little punch downs for each, each socket, but there's no actual separation. I had double punched the last 2 sets on one wire. So I put 2 wires together and punched it together. So all the succeeding wires were off. And so that's the whole reason we didn't do a podcast last week.
Yeah, I know. Cause I had everything just like now. Everything was set up, had the mic in front of me, the camera was going, and I'm like, dude, are you ready? And you're like, can we do it next week? 'Cause I'm working on my internet, and I'm like, dude, I have shitty internet, and I'm doing it. Come on now.
Yeah, like I said, I literally ran like some all new Cat 5 in a couple of rooms, and then I was putting everything into a patch panel because before it was all kind of hodgepodge together, so I wanted something a little more professional. And
yeah, you're gonna have to make sure that you link a picture to your little setup too, because I can't tell if it looks professional or if it's a mess.
It's somewhere in between. It really is. Probably some of my best work that I've done in a while, but I still got some wiring. I need to get some straps and actually, put the wiring on the last section of the wall, because right now it's just kind of dangling there. But yeah, that was kind of a pain in the ass, and I was like, what in the hell did I do wrong? I've done this a million times, so it's not like this isn't something I've done before. But
the amazing thing that I found that was interesting is when you were like, I got 3 routers, and I'm like, your house is not that big. Why do you have 3 wireless routers? I still don't understand that. But you said you got some dead spots in your house.
Yeah, where originally I had basically planned out the networking, I had my modem / router, the one you get from Time Warner, which is who I have at the moment, but I've had others. But I had it in the furthest bedroom away in the corner of the house, literally in the corner. And so it would sort of reach one spot, but it wouldn't reach to certain parts. Like literally the kids were using up all their data because it kept dropping out, and they're sitting in their rooms. So
wow.
I had put a second router to, add a little more Wi-Fi. Well, there was still one more dead spot in the back corner of the other side of the house. And I'm like, so I bought a 3rd router and I put that in. So I had literally like a triangle of routers.
Right.
And they were being a real pain in the ass. They didn't want to talk to each other. They kept disconnecting from each other, and it just it became too much of a pain. So when I redid it, I put where everything is now is basically in the middle of the house, and so far the Wi-Fi reaches pretty much everywhere. So I'm down to just the main router, and then it's tied into a switch, and then that switch goes to all the rooms, and then I got a couple rooms with switches for like my living room. I have my console, my computers, and all that stuff, tied into one, because it's obviously doesn't need a bunch of bandwidth because rarely ever more than one device is on at the same time. So
yeah, I know you said you went through and basically put a hard line in every single room.
Yep.
And everything.
All 4 bedrooms all have their own dedicated line. They also all the other thing I did was because some of the rooms had some connections, but it's like I had like one cable gang box and one Cat 5. Well, I got the ones with the where the Cat 5 and the coax were together. So it's
Yeah.
one gang box each room, and it made it a lot cleaner, made it a lot nicer. I tied up all the runs around the edge of the house. I'm sorry if I just hit the microphone. But I tied up all the runs, so it's all nice and
like
neat.
a dong.
Yeah, it's the springs on the microphone. But yeah, I mean, it was a lot of work. In fact, I just technically finished it today. I had one run that I had sort of temporarily hooked up, but I hadn't put the actual gang box in the wall.
Yeah.
And so I got the last one done in my bedroom. I finished that one up today, so it's officially done, except for a little bit of wiring. Like I said, I got to strap up in the wall, on the outside wall. But yeah, like I said, a lot of work. It's been kind of a pain.
Yeah, I mean, I've just got the one single router, and I mean, considering my double wide is roughly probably about the same square footage as your house. That was the one thing that confused me, is why you needed three routers. Because I'm like, I have a little bit of issues like in my bedroom, because it's probably the farthest point away from the router, because it's not square in the middle, but well, it is, but it's on an outside wall. It's like not in the middle of the double wide. So with that, I mean, I guess I can kind of understand why you was having some issues, and obviously your walls are a hell of a lot better built than mine are.
Yes and no. In fact, I found at least one wall that I'm guaranteed I do not have. I don't have insulation in my son's room.
Oh wow!
On an outside wall. That's the worst part. It's an outside wall.
Yeah, that's not good.
I cut a hole, to put the gang box in and run it, proper. And I'm looking, and I'm like, there's not a drop of insulation in here. I'm like, honey, come here and look at this. And I was like, look in that hole with a flashlight and tell me what's missing. She's like, there's no insulation in there. It's like, yeah, not a 1 ounce of insulation.
So you guys gonna look at that, getting that fixed then?
Well, we've been talking about, and if anybody's had this done, I'm really curious to know how it works. But those companies that come in, they'll kind of like drill holes in your house, and then they'll pump the spray foam in. That's what I want to have done to the whole house. And but yeah, it's man, I'm worried about how expensive it's going to be.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I don't know how much. I mean, I know several years ago we had oh shit, it wasn't HEAP. Anyway, I had to do through community action. They came out and re-insulate underneath of our double wide, because most of the time when you get them, there's no insulation underneath. So they literally sprayed. It wasn't the foam, but it was the really light particle stuff, and taped everything up. And it was just amazing, the difference in temperature and how well it holds the heat or the coolness, depending on what season it is, compared to what it was then. But yeah, I didn't have to pay for it, so I can't really help you on what it was actually charged to actually get that done. But
well, and like you said, it was mostly on the underside of your double wide. So, my house is sitting on a slab foundation, so none of that would actually do me any good.
And that would make it easier, like with what you had to do with your Cat 5. I mean, literally, I can go under mine, drill holes up through the floorboard, and just mount boxes if I wanted to, almost like a telephone box.
Yeah, as long as you can pick where the wall is underneath. Yeah. You can go to town. Trust me, that I kind of wish I had a crawl space under the house.
Right.
If I could care less about a basement would be cool, because what guy doesn't want a basement?
Yeah, it's where your man cave's at.
Yeah, that's where the man cave would be. But I know a lot of people it's really strange, because my side of the street is all slab. The other side of the street, which has houses nearly identical to mine, all have basements, or mostly have basements. So it's kind of strange.
Is there any issues that might have been like a flooding issue? I mean, are you lower plane than what they are?
No, I mean, we're all pretty much the same, but I'll see, anytime there's rain, it's like you'll because they all have the tubes coming out the side, where the pump is, and it's just squirting water out the sides on several of the houses. So it's like, man, I don't think I want that mess. That's the only thing I'd ever worry about.
Chances of having the damage in your basement and whatnot.
Yeah, It's one of those
Then
things.
you have to call the basement doctor.
The basement doctor.
Yeah.
anybody's ever seen those commercials? They're kind of funny.
I don't know if that's just strictly to our area or not, but
Yeah, I don't know if that's a franchise or if that's the way it is, but
I had
so
something happen to me interesting there a couple weeks ago. I don't remember. Have you had dental work
I've had a little.
at all? Okay, I've never had a cavity at all, and I had one, so they wanted to fill it. And even though I'm 6'3", 240, NFL linebacker size, I'm a big puss. So I walked in there, and of course, Steph was with me, and she was having a cavity filled too. And they said, well, we're going to do hers at the same time. And I was like, well, shit, there goes my support, right out the window. So I told the hygienist, I said, look, my mouth's a virgin. I've never had anything done to it. I don't know what to expect. I'm really anxious about this. And she's like, oh, don't worry, it ain't nothing. I was like, okay. So we go in there, and, I'm just kind of BSing with them. And they have this little goo stuff on a stick. And
I hate the goo
like,
stuff.
He's like, I'm going to put this in, up above your gum and everything where we're going to do the work at. And I'm like, what is that, like Orajel or something? He said, well, yeah, pretty much. It's just stronger. So he's got it in there. And so I'm sitting there holding it in my mouth like a damn sucker, like a blow pop or something. I'm having a conversation with him. And, I'm starting to feel it go numb a little bit. And then the doctor comes back in and he's like, all right, I'm going to give you this shot. He said, yeah, you might notice your heart rate increase. I was like, oh, is it Novocaine? He said, no, it's lidocaine. It's got a little bit of epinephrine in it. And I was like, okay. I said, well, I'm an EMT anyway. I said, that's fine. I'm not really that worried about it. So he's like, you might feel a little pressure. And, I didn't even see the needle. He was really cool about hiding it in his glove. And
See,
stuff
I straight up said, I want nitrous because I can't do that at all.
So he goes to shoot me in the gun, dude. And it was just pressure. There was no pain, no hurt, no nothing. It was just pressure. And he was done with it. And then he's like, I'm going to give you another one. And I didn't even feel the other one at all. And he's like, you're going to, he's like, I'm going to let it sit there for about 15 minutes, take, effect, and then I'll be back and everything. So I'm sitting there talking. I can feel it. It was on my right side.
It's the weirdest, it's the weirdest feeling. It's almost like what happens when you smash your finger in a car door. It's like it hurts and then it has this nummy feeling, but you can feel it. It's swollen.
It was weird because you could go like this and not feel it, and it was really weird. So, he comes back in with the drill and everything, and he's like, you're going to feel some vibration and whatnot. And the first one, I didn't hardly feel anything. And the second one was really rough, and I felt it. But it didn't hurt. There was no pain whatsoever. She put I got silver filling because it was on my molar, and they said it'll last longer than the clear filling or white. And when it was all said and done, Steph she had just finished too when I walked over there, and she was getting ready to cover hers. So we come home, and I look at Steph, and I'm like, is your mouth still numb? And we smoke, and I couldn't hardly hold a cigarette in my mouth. And you go to smile, and it looked like you had a stroke. And I said, I hope we don't have to call for a squad because they're going to think we're both stroking out. It was really funny. But that was the first time I ever had an experience with it. And I know some people have had horrible experiences at a dentist. But I have to say, our dentist is very nice people, and they made it a pretty pleasant experience. But I still have to get my wisdom teeth cut out, and I'm not looking forward for that shit.
Well, see, I broke this side upper one. I had literally broke the top off, but the whole thing was dead. It's I didn't feel pain in it at all, but it's one of those I literally had to relearn because this was the side I chewed on, when I'm chewing steak or whatever. So I had to relearn to chew on this side to keep shit out of it. Well, it finally got to the point where I was like, you know what, let's just have it done. So, like I said, I was like, I can't do needles. That just would set me off. I'm like, you got to put me under. So the thing for me, it was like they's like, okay, no biggie. Here's what your cost is going to be. Yeah. They lied out their ass about the cost.
Okay. Why?
Not only did I spend, I don't remember what the exact amount, but I spent, I paid that day, I paid whatever they said, what I was due. And I, and then not long later, I got a bill for a couple $100.
Oh, wow.
And it was a big fight. And I finally just paid the damn bill, but yeah, they said, okay, this is what the insurance covers. And then they came back and said, oh, the insurance didn't cover this. The insurance didn't cover that. I'm like, you told me it covered.
Right. That's the thing. That's their job. See, that's just one thing. Like for my wisdom teeth, I got two to get out. They're giving me gas and another. Basically, they're going to put me in twilight sleep, to where I can talk to him, but I'm not going to remember it. So it's like, give
Trust
me.
me, when you're on that gas, I've never been high before, but I will tell you that would be the description. If it feels like you're seriously buzzing high, is the only way
Yeah,
I can describe it.
that's what the hygienist told me. She's like, "You're going to be high," and I asked her. I said, "What kind of high? I mean, are we talking high like I just smoked a pound of dope, or high like I just shot myself with some heroin or some LSD and I'm tripping balls?" You know what I mean? But obviously, they meant as far as feeling good and everything. So
Right.
I have yet to schedule that, but mine's only going to cost me. I think it was like $112 after my insurance pays.
Yeah, I think in the end, I think I ended up spending almost 300.
Wow.
Yeah, and it really shouldn't have been. It shouldn't have been that high at all.
And then I went to the eye doctor. Me and Steph went to the eye doctor today, and I about got this shit scared out of me because I didn't even know what to expect. I got my eyes checked, right? And you ever had the blow test where they shoot the shit in your
I hate
eyes?
that.
Okay, well they did that, and last year my pressures were high. They say anything above 18 is high. They have to use this little pin. They put numbing stuff on your eye, like I don't know, it's supposed to numb your eye. They take a pin to your eye, and I don't know, it does something. It touches your eye. It's weird. So anyway, I do that. I do my vision test. Everything comes out clear. 2020, no problems. Very very minimal prescription. And then they're like, "Well, we got to run some more tests." Like, okay, why? And they're like, "Well, your pressure on your one eye is still high." And I'm like, okay. So she takes, and I have to stare in this thing. And you know how bad it is to get light flashed in front of your eye.
Right.
Literally imagine an inch from your eye flashing at you. And what does it takes a picture of your optical nerve. And they did that on both sides. And I asked the tech because it um, wasn't the eye guy, the eye doctor. I asked her, I said, "So what does that mean?" And she's like, "Oh, well, we just want to keep an eye and have a trending record and see if it gets worse." But she still could never tell me what the hell it meant as far as, being
Yeah,
a problem.
I wear glasses. Obviously, I don't wear it for the contacts because of the glare. Because I only need to see far away. I see up close fine, but I just don't see far away.
Right.
Um, yeah. In fact, we're all about due to go have our round of eyes checked, and I always hate it. But see the thing is like I can't do they can't dilate my eyes. I had a weird reaction the first time I ever had. Well, it was first or second time I ever had that done. But I had a really kind of nasty reaction. Like my eyes were nasty, bloodshot, and then
Yeah.
I became very, very night sensitive. So driving at night for me is really like hell because every light coming at me just practically blinds me.
It's
So
glaring to you.
um, yeah, it's definitely one of those things. I hate doing it. I really do. Of course, it's always your eyes a little worse. Your eyes are a little worse. Your eyes are a little worse. And my wife, it's like she's got walleye vision. I figure here in just a few more years, I'm going to pay to have her LASIK done for her because she's going to get to the point where she's going to have, Coke bottle glasses.
I was going to say, does she have the Coke bottle glasses and shit?
She's not. If she didn't get paid, if we didn't pay big bucks and get the super ultra light, super thin, high end lenses, and we pay a
Right.
lot extra for that, they would be, and they're still twice as thick as mine. So
Yeah, poor Danielle. I mean, her eyes have progressively starting to get worse and worse. So she's probably, especially at her age, going to be a definite candidate for that. And then Steph hasn't had contacts for a while. She's had her glasses, and especially when she's watching me play games or whatever, she's like, she has to put her glasses on, which made her mad. But she got some. Obviously, when we went to eye doctor and they give her contacts today until her new ones come in, and she's like, "Oh my god, I can see."
I
And the cool thing about my insurance. I don't know how yours works, but like my insurance, if you're not getting glasses or contacts, they will actually pay for sunglasses that's carried there. Yeah, so I
Mine,
got Oakley's last year, and Steph got Oakley's this year.
wow. I yeah, mine pays like up to frames up to a certain amount,
Right.
and then they'll pay certain things on lenses, and then if we want anything like certain extra things like, and my wife pays, and this was the thing like this last time it's not been so bad because she's wore them a lot more like actually daily. But even the ones before that, because she got a full set of contacts, I'm like, you wear your glasses around the house. You don't like to drive in them. You don't wear them outside the house. You went out and paid. I think I want to say her just on lenses. I think we paid at least $150 to $200 extra because she got the anti glare, the scratch resist. I mean, she got she literally checked the whole line of boxes of extra stuff. And I'm like, why? For glasses you wear around the house.
Right.
I don't
Yeah,
get
that's
none
kind of
of that. And I wear
ridiculous.
them every day.
Yeah, that's and like Danielle, she wears her contacts, pretty much 24/7, except for when she first wakes up or when she's getting ready to go to bed. She takes her contacts out. That's the only time she wears her actual glasses. So she's got some cheapos, you know what I mean, that were like
Right.
freebies, because she doesn't hardly wear them. She usually wears her contacts. So yeah, it's kind of weird that Barb would do that. So Barb, if you watch this, quit spending money on stuff you don't need. Oh wait, I should probably say it to you too, shouldn't I?
Yeah, I'm kind of bad about that. But
We all are. That's the amazing part about being an American in this world.
yeah. And I kind of feel bad because my wife, we're going on vacation next week. And that was kind of, before we started recording, that was kind of what she was having a fuss about. Because originally we were talking about maybe going to Vegas.
Yeah, I know you said something about that.
And then, just for anybody who doesn't know, we had a very close friend got into a situation where he couldn't afford to live. His roommate was moving out. He didn't have anybody to move in. He couldn't afford to stay where he was at. So we basically offered up our spare room to him. And so, but that move was, there was cost involved for us because we redid the whole room. We put the floor down. We painted the walls. There was a lot of extra cost in that.
Mm.
And so, and then obviously redoing the internet, which part of that had to do with him moving in because that room didn't have that stuff in it prior to that. So that was part of the whole rewire project, but I had other things I wanted to fix and all that in the same time. So it was a lot of extra expense. So now we can't do a whole lot. She's kind of
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. Like you said, it kind of forced your hand all one time to spend out that extra money that you probably wanted to use to do stuff like that.
yeah, and we're trying to buy a car, and for anybody that wants to buy a car, it is such an aggravate. To me, it's harder to buy a car than sometimes it is to buy a house. Just because you go through this whole line of you got to hunt down what you want, and then you got to find one at the price you want, and then you got the whole negotiation, and then if you're dealing with a trade in, there's a whole mess. It's such a pain in the ass.
Yeah, and it can be. I mean, I think we actually the few times that we've actually bought cars from dealerships, we've been lucky enough to not have a bunch of hassle because it's been nothing for us to just walk away. But our house was another issue because there was just a whole bunch of stuff that the paperwork and stuff. Neither one of us at the time had bought a house, and it was just like, oh my god, it was a whole lot of crap.
You
But
had a lot of crap after the fact because the title agency on yours didn't do their job the way they were supposed
no,
to.
they had he had a business, a mechanics business, and they had that garage deeded attached to this house. So in turn made our taxes higher. I don't know how the hell they got that screwed up in the auditor's office, but I don't work there, so that's on them. But I mean, we did eventually get that figured out. But yeah, it was kind of a big mess at first when we first bought the house. They had a whole bunch of stuff screwed up that we had to go through and get fixed.
Yeah, and and everybody talks about buying a house and the American dream, and for me, it's not. The buying a house, I wanted to buy a house because that's what I've always been kind of led to believe, that that's the American dream. You want to buy a house, you
We
want to buy.
didn't have that.
But you're right. You and I grew up. We didn't have that. But it's like, and everybody's like, oh, there's these great tax advantages for buying a house, and I'm like, you're full of fucking shit.
Yeah, where?
Yeah,
Tell me where that's at.
Yeah, tell me exactly. You're paying a lot of money. You're paying a lot of interest, and you're never getting your return on investment. Anybody that manages to get a return on investment got lucky and bought so cheap.
Yeah, bought like a $15,000-$20,000 house, put 10 grand in it, and all of a sudden it was worth 80.
Yeah, we obviously overpaid for our house, you know.
Yes,
and we've put a lot of money into it, and need to put a lot of more money into it. You know, obviously we were talking about insulation. This year I just got done putting $5,000 in a brand new furnace.
Yeah, but if you think about a lot of the things that you guys are going through with the cost of your house is your location. I mean, you guys are in a, as far as I can tell, decent neighborhood. Obviously, I don't live up there, but you know, it's
decent.
a decent neighborhood.
It's decent.
I mean, you're not slumming.
No, that's not.
You're
slumming.
not on, you know,
but
Detroit or anything.
I could put $20,000 into this house right now, and fix every problem that this house has, and still probably lose $50,000 or more on the sale. That's pretty much the truth.
Yeah, the valuation of the houses is ridiculous.
Yeah, like I said, we overpaid. Actually, speaking of that, the house next to me, I really wish we could have bought that house. Honestly, it sold for $32,000.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it went cheap.
That would have been the one to buy.
Yeah, I paid almost $90 for mine. Now, taking in consideration, it's not as quite as big as the square footage as mine, but it's got a much bigger yard. But it was a foreclosure, all that kind of good shit. So that's why it went cheap. And it needed work. There was no lie. Like, the kitchen was gutted. Apparently I didn't need a new furnace, a new hot water tank, all that good stuff. And but the guy that bought it as a, you know, investment property. You know, like I said, paid about $32,000 for it, put about $20,000 into it, and was trying to sell it for what I paid for this house, which was $87,000, somewhere in that ballpark. I don't know what it actually, there's right now, it's a pending sale, so I don't know what it officially sold for yet. But man, if anybody bought that house at that rate, they're overpaying for this neighborhood.
But what is it valued for? I mean, have you even looked at that?
Well, yeah. See, unfortunately that's the bad part. But if you look at the houses that have sold in this neighborhood in the last 4 or 5 years, not most of them sold $50,000-$60,000. And you know, even the ones that are bigger than the ones on this block, that are like a block over, have sold for that ballpark number. And a lot of what they did was cosmetic. I'll be honest. The furnace and the central air and the hot water tank, obviously those were big purchases. But like when they redid the kitchen, and oh my god, so stupid. They went into, I know what they did. They went into Home Depot. They bought the absolute cheapest white cabinets you can buy. Period.
Right.
They're white. They're ugly. They don't like mine. I bought kind of the next step up from the base one, which has, you know, it's fiberboard, most of it, but the face of it is solid wood. Right. So, you know, and that really, like, in comparison, there was probably maybe $600 or $800 difference between those really ugly cheap cabinets and the next ones up. But the thing that drives me crazy, and we told the guy that was working on the house, because when you go through I wish I could show it, but I can't. But you go through you go through the kitchen to the laundry room, and the laundry room's a closet. Like, you can barely get a washer and dryer in that, and you got the hot water tank and the furnace in that same room. I literally have to take
You were talking about yours, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about mine, but the house next door is laid out exactly like mine.
Okay.
Well, and you've been in my house, so you kind of know.
Yes.
Well, on the far wall, I have my refrigerator, and then an empty space, and then there's the door to the laundry room on that far wall. Well, they put cabinets in that space to the left of where my refrigerator is. I don't know how the hell you're going to get a washer and dryer past those cabinets.
Well, it depends on how high up they are. Like you know what I mean?
Like
how big they are and how high they got them.
Well, the thing is to get a normal size washer and dryer, a full size washer and dryer. I have my back basically has to be to almost where my refrigerator is.
Right.
That space, and it has to go in straight, and I have to take the inner door frame out. There's a little thing that keeps the door to shut. I have to take that out, and it squeaks through, and I mean squeaks. Okay,
Yeah,
that space that
they're fucking condensed. It's ridiculous.
It is stupid.
See how small it is, because like you said, you've got washer, dryer, your electric stuff's in there, plus your hot water tank. It's like, and it's literally, I wouldn't even give it a walk-in closet space.
If it was empty, it'd be that's all it would be, is a real basic walk-in closet.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about putting a full-size washer and dryer in there, I mean, you can't open the doors all the way. Like you're shimmying in sideways. You can't go in widthwise. You're shimmying in sideways. But anyway, so what they did is they put the new cabinets on that wall where I normally have to stand to start to get it lined up to go into that closet.
Right.
So there's no way to get a washer and dryer past that.
So obviously and that's the thing, he's not going to furnish that. That's something
right.
Whoever moves in is going to have to look at.
And they're going to have to pull that. They're going to have to
overlook it when they buy it.
They're going to have to pull that lower cabinet up to be able to put a washer and dryer in, because you can't get it in there because there's not enough room to squeeze it between the sink. Because there's the sink, then the door, then there's the corner, and it's like I said, it's right there.
Yeah, and wow, some people don't really care about what they do,
No.
And that's the thing. There's a lot of people that do that. They play that real estate game and just try to make a buck.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what it actually sold for, but somebody bought it or somebody's trying to buy it. I just don't think it's worth it, and not what the initial asking price was going to be.
Right.
But anyway. So what have you been playing?
Actually, I've been playing a new PC game, which I played on my PC or my PS4. It's called Smite. We talked about it a little bit earlier, and the idea it plays like League of Legends, which I've tried League of Legends and Dota 2, and I never really got into it. But this one, as opposed to that, I can't remember what they call that. It's almost overhead, but it's not view that Dota 2 and League of Legends has.
Is it almost like StarCraft type?
I've never played StarCraft. So
it's considered real time strategy. I know.
Actually, WoW. The view of WoW, where you're behind your character, is probably the best view of your character I could say.
Okay,
but
so it's
the
not.
idea that, like you said, you get to play with all these, ancient gods and stuff, and it's all online battles and stuff too. So you get to play, and it's really starting to take off. They've been into it since I think 2015. I mean, they're having $1 million championship, just like League of Legends. I mean, it's really taken off, and I'm addicted to it. Me and Steph, I'm all up in it playing it. It's pretty badass.
Yeah, and we were talking about this. I started playing Watch Dogs again. It's one of those games I've tried and tried and tried. I've got a huge backlog of video games that I need to play. I just haven't had. I literally have not touched a video game probably in 2 months.
Wow. Like even on PC?
Yeah, even on PC. I think I've played a couple of rounds of Shell Shock, and that's it in the last 2 months. It's literally been that crazy around here. But yeah, I started playing Watch Dogs again, and it's one of those games, like I borrowed this, so it's not like I paid for it. I just don't know if I would have paid for it. You know, it's kind of cool for the genre and what it tried to do, but I admit a lot of people had a gnat just fall in front of me. Um,
Yeah.
I admit with a lot of people, it wasn't quite there. It was almost there, but it's just not quite.
Yeah, I
Um,
played a little bit of it because that was one of the games when it come out. That was about the same time that Danielle was getting her PS4, and so it was something I was like, it looks pretty neat in the concept of it. So we bought it, and she has never played it, even though it was for her system and it was bought for her. I probably got maybe half an hour into it, and it doesn't grab me, which is kind of sad because it looks like it could be a
story, it's
really
got, at
interesting
least
game.
from what I've played into it, like the story seems like it's there. It's the game mechanics. It's missing. It feels real generic. It feels like they kind of half-assed the game mechanics a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, hacking is very linear. It's not. It doesn't feel so open for me. Like
And that's the thing. You're right. It's not everything about that game seems like you said linear. It just kind of goes in one direction. You can't really split off and do much. And we might be giving it the wrong aspect because neither one of us have put that much time into it. It might be greater later on, but like I said, it's kind of like a book, which I hate to read because it puts me to sleep. But if I can get into a game and play it and it grabs me, good luck getting me to put it down. I'll be staying up and not even going to sleep playing.
Yeah, and I finally picked up Diablo 3. We were talking about this earlier. And I picked up and I have the Reaper of Souls expansion. So I'm I know I'm going to end up putting a bunch of hours into that game.
You did get that PC, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, it's PC. Absolutely.
Okay.
I would never buy that. That's a game I would never buy console.
That was a day one buy for me when it came out. I bought that day one reserved from GameStop, which was funny because if you go into a GameStop, even then, I mean, I can't remember what was that, like 4 or 5 years ago when that came out, and you don't see PC games hardly at all because nobody hardly carries boxed PC games anymore.
Right.
So it was kind of
Steam
interesting.
Steam pretty much has kind of ruined that.
Yeah, but especially with somebody like me that has really crappy internet, I need that physical media when it comes to PC games to at least get me started. That way, my download isn't so huge. And then Danielle, I think it was the following year when they released the Reaper of Souls. She got me that or maybe she got it for my birthday. Yeah, she got it for my birthday, and I got Reaper of Souls. And I've put countless hours into it. Not near as many as what some people have, but I definitely can say I've enjoyed that game and got my money's worth out of it.
Yeah, I mean, we were even talking. We got one friend, that, like I said, one character. He's got over 160 hours on one character alone. So yeah,
That's a
it's
lot of grinding.
has a lot of grinding, and I enjoyed. I played a lot of Diablo 2 back in the day.
Hmm.
Um, we used to. I really missed though the cow level. We used to farm the shit out of it. It was fun. Moo, 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 moo.
I remember when, if you remember when we was in school and Diablo 2 was still a big thing, and there were some people, Butterball, I'll just say that. He used to get on eBay and like people were selling stuff from their Diablo 2 accounts, like these special legendary crap and stuff for money. And
That was
they
the
don't do
start
it
of it.
now, but back when I got Diablo 3, that was an option. Like people could literally sell shit on Diablo 3. Shortly after that, they took it off, which
Yeah,
is
my
why. But
understanding from a friend of mine, we were talking about that, and he even said he's like he read an article talking about from one of the main developers of the game or whatever, and they said that the auction house was the worst idea they ever implemented on that game.
I don't see why, because I think they charged you a percentage of it, and people's going to do that anyway.
I think there was probably because I mean, BattleNet has hacking issues as it is. I mean, yeah, that's the reason
Yeah,
you have to have the authenticator and you have to have it tied to your cell phone and all that good stuff because every time you turn around, the accounts are getting hacked and they're getting it's like I will admit that's one thing was one of the reasons why I kind of didn't buy it. Besides the fact that I'll be honest, and I still believe this, I think the demo quality was better than the game quality. There was something weird about that. But when I played the demo, like the sharpness of the rendering and all that
Hmm.
seemed better.
I never played the demo, so I can't actually compare the two.
Yeah, there was some, like I said, there was something really really weird. But when I played the demo, it just looked a whole lot better than what actually came out. After I saw a friend buy it, because I was one of those, I didn't have the money to buy it day one, but I was going
Hmm.
to buy it, in the coming weeks, and it's like, and then I saw it, I'm like, hey, that doesn't look as good as the demo, and I'm like, and even the friend of mine, he's like, I think you're right, because we both had played the demo, and or the beta or whatever you want to call it,
Right.
and yeah, I still to this day still think that there was they had probably they probably dropped the quality level so it would play on console. And I can't remember if I was did I play the demo on console or PC? I can't remember which one it was, but I don't know. Like I said, it was just kind of one of those weird things. But I kind of had put off, but it was on a like really nice sale, and I had bought the Reaper Souls on clearance for like $12. So it was.
I remember when I told you about it, but of course at that time I was already out of the store. But if you remember, I think it was a couple of years ago. I told you I bought Battlefield 4 for like $5 at Walmart. For some reason, it was clearance down to $5,
Yeah,
and
and
I told
I
you
told
about
you, I was
it.
like, dude, go
You're
back and
like,
buy me
dude, go
one.
get me a coffee, and I'm like, but I can't. And then of course the next time I was in there, of course they were obviously gone, or they were either gone or they'd marked them back up. I don't know how the hell I got a copy of, because it was barely out a year. Because Hardline had just come out,
It was there had to
which
be
sucked.
something weird about it. Maybe it got accidentally marked down or something by accident.
Hey, that ain't my fault. That's the only thing I gotta say.
Yeah, but for $5, yeah, absolutely, I did. I remember telling you, dude, go back and buy me. I was like, why the hell didn't you call me?
Yeah, I honestly, I think I was in shock when I did the price scan thing and it said $5. I was like, shit. So I think I must have been a Usain Bolt dead sprint all the way to the checkout. Like I got to get this before they change the price on it.
Oh,
Yeah, I couldn't believe that when I bought that. But as far as new games, I mean, I haven't really bought as far as paid for because, like I said, Smite, and we talked a little bit too. I tried Path of Exile, which is a Diablo 3 clone, and it's okay. To me, it's literally a clone. There's a lot of people that think it's better because the skill tree is so much more massive than what you can do in Diablo 3, and I think that appeals to a lot more people. It gives a better playability than what Diablo 3 does.
I picked up a game on Steam. I want to say either I picked up Doom or I picked up. It was on a Steam sale a couple weeks ago. God, I can't remember which one it was.
I played the demo of Doom. I actually really liked it, and my PC runs it really well too. Which that's surprisingly a new title, AAA title, that's not very system intensive. Like you don't have to have top of the line stuff to be able to run really high frame rates on that.
As long as you're not playing, is it Nightmare? As long as you don't have everything turned up, and
Right.
obviously if you've got a new graphics card, Vulkan is supposed to be really nice. Um,
Yeah, they've tested that and shown the increase in those too.
yeah, so it's. I'll eventually, like I said, I picked up one of those damn games. I was looking for my phone because I was going to look at my purchase history because I couldn't remember. Because I know I paid it for like $5 or $7. That's the thing.
Right.
That's like me and Doc were in at GameStop today, or well, yesterday, and he went ahead and pre-ordered Gears of War, and I'm like, I told him, I said, I want Gears of War. I want to play Gears of War. I want to play Gears of War with him because it's great.
Mhm.
It's a great co-op game. But I'm like, I think I'm gonna wait a month, wait till Black Friday,
Where they
and
make it like half price.
yeah, it'll be at least $20 off.
Right.
And I'm like, I know I'm not gonna play it right away. I don't have the time. I just don't. Like I said, I've got a huge backlog of video games that just that I've been wanting to play.
I see. I get it bitched at for that because and we've talked about on here before, where I collect games and I have games that just sit and they never get played. And like earlier, I told you I picked up. I When me and Steph got married in 2004, one of the first things she bought me when I got out of the Navy, I come home not only to a new wardrobe because it was my birthday, but a brand new Xbox, original Xbox, with a bunch of games and controllers and stuff. And of course, I was stupid and I got rid of it in a yard sale years ago, not too long after I even had it. And I picked one up the other day for $20. Came with the remote, all the hookups, and I asked him. I said, "Can you throw a game into it?" Because it was one of the cash advance places, where people trade them in and they just end up letting them go or whatever. And it was like, yeah, and they had shitty games. I think I picked up Tony Hawk Project 8 for the original Xbox because literally the other two games were sports games, and they were tore the fuck up. I mean, literally, like it was shredded. The plastic was shredded on the outer casing, and it was really messed up. The funny thing was when I first got it home and I looked at it, the four pads underneath had been removed, so the screws were done. And then when I turned it on, and sure enough, it fired up a game, and it had Splinter Cell in it. First thing I thought in my head, I was like, "Oh my god, this is a modded Xbox." It's not, because they had never removed the other two screws for whatever reason. They removed the feet, and it's the Splinter Cell Platinum hits, which you have to add the original to soft mod the Xbox. But I actually was hoping, I was like, shit, if I have a modded Xbox, that'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, I never got into the closest thing I got into modern consoles. Most people don't realize this. The only difference between a 64 US and a 64 Japan is a notch in the casing. Mm-hmm. So what you have to do is you have to go, basically, if you open up the cartridge thing and you look, there'll be a notch. You just have to get rid of the notch,
right,
and they'll fit right in and work. That was their way of region locking it, and that's what they did. So
yeah, I call that a hard mod because you have to knock those notches off.
But yeah, you just cut them out or drill them out or whatever. Obviously you got to be very careful when you do it.
Right. But, and back then it was easy because my even the Genesis was the same way, which was easy with my 32X. I just had to take the back pieces of the flaps, the dust protector. There's some extra piece of plastic I just had to knock off. That way the Japanese, Genesis cartridges will fit right down in there. And that was the thing back then. That's all it was, is just the different shape and whatnot of the cartridges, except for the Famicom and the regular Nintendo. Obviously, there's completely different system designs, but
yeah, I can't figure out what I did with. I had an NES, and I've got all the accessories, but I can't seem to find the NES for some stupid reason. But I need to get that fixed, or I need to get a new one. But I kind of want to get a Retron 5, just because I don't want the hassle of having to collect all the systems. But I know there are some inherent disabilities with because it doesn't play all the games.
Right, because it has to dump the ROMs and all that stuff. Some of the games it has some issues with. And plus, if you use the controllers that it comes with, the wireless.
Oh, those things are junk. Yeah, I would definitely use original controllers, even with the Retron 5. I wouldn't use those junk wireless controllers they come with. Everybody talks how laggy, crappy they are. They might as well quit offering them.
I think I probably have like 8 original Nintendo controllers and probably 3 or 4 Super Nintendo controllers.
I've got,
because I don't test them, but
I want to say I've got 3 or 4 original NES controllers, and I've got the light gun. But the one thing I do have, and I don't know if I've ever actually showed you, I have a joystick for the NES. Did I show you it? I've even got it's original. It's like got the original box with it, which is kind of nice. And
I want to say I have one.
I'll be honest. I even looked it up on eBay, and it was like one person ever selling one. So it's not something you find a ton of, but it's just cool enough. I mean, it's got real nice buttons on it. It's great for like Top Gun and some of the flight games. That's what they're made for. You're right.
But yeah, with me getting the original Xbox and that kind of nostalgia from when I had one, and of course I would love to find find it very often is the Steel Battalion controller, because that thing is just awesome, even though it's the size of your coffee table. Um, that was one of those rare. And I remember when, oh hell, what was it called? I think it was called Game Crazy when Hollywood Video down here in
Yeah,
Charlotte.
before
They had one. They had one sitting up on the counter, and I'm like, what the hell is that thing? And they're like, oh, it's Steel Battalion. It's a mech game, and this is a controller. I
y-
was like, no way. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, looking at it, and I think they wanted like $150 for it. I can't remember. Which,
that game was originally, I think it was like $250 or $300 new.
yeah, because it comes in this great, huge, big ass like military style box and stuff. And
You're gonna hate me.
yeah, well, you have one.
I don't, but Doc does. So I have one here in the
Doc
house.
has a Steel Battalion.
He's got one in the box.
Okay, you remember what we've talked about before, and I won't bring it up on here. I think I know a way we can make it even.
Oh, I
Just saying.
I keep telling him sometime, because that's the thing. I've really not had a whole lot of time, which is one of the reasons why I kind of have veered off doing my vlogs and stuff. That's why I haven't done one. I wanted to do one like last week and talk about the move and all the craziness going on, but yeah, I told him, I said, sometime when we got time, I want to bring that thing out with an original Xbox. I want to sit down and play it. I want to get an adapter to play it on PC and use it on like MechWarrior or something. That would be awesome.
The Xbox to USB adapter or whatever it is.
Yep.
Get those dirt cheap on eBay, because I thought about getting them.
I have to. It's kind of one of those things. I just haven't done it. You know what I mean? But yeah, and let me say, I've seen the controller. He's brought it out for me before. It's been a few years, but man, if you've never seen one, and you're especially if you're a gamer, it's gamer porn for me. I mean,
I can't. Do you remember what the total button count? It's like over 40 buttons or something.
I want to say it was
functions in the game.
And the thing, most people don't realize in that game, it was one of those and I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. But if you didn't hit the eject button in time and you died, it erased your save. You had to start over.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was the thing with that game. It was literally. If you didn't inject it in time and hit the eject button, and it has like a flip up red button ejection, it's really awesome. But yeah, if you don't hit it and inject, you will die and it will delete your save. You'll have to start over.
I think the biggest thing that made that rare, and the Steel Battalion that was come with, wasn't the only Steel Battalion game on the original Xbox. And I mean, there was even MechWarrior game on the Xbox, but I don't believe that controller worked for either of those two games. I think it was just for that game.
It will work, if I remember correctly, it will work with Steel Battalion 2, but was not required to play Steel Battalion 2. Now, to play the original Steel Battalion, you have to have the controller. It wasn't designed to use a regular Xbox controller. Right. The second one, it was optional. So for anybody that had it, could use it. But I'll have to confirm that for sure. But I'm 99% sure that's the way that worked. But yeah, it's an awesome controller. It looks badass, and like I said, I'd love to have that. But you might ask him. He might trade you. I don't know. But I'll be honest. He loves that controller just about as much as I do. And I told him, I said, I kind of like to have it if you ever decide to get rid of it. And so far, he has never offered it up to me. But yeah, it's, like I said, gamer porn. But that was the reason it didn't sell. That was the big thing. It didn't sell because it was a $300 controller. And back then it was a $200 Xbox. Right. So, it was more than an Xbox, which is the same reason like Sega CD didn't sell well.
Yeah, I have one.
Yeah, you have a beautiful version. Yours is a really clean one. Um,
Only because I cleaned it. Should have seen it when I got the damn thing. The thing wouldn't even open up because it was so gummed.
yeah, but yours doesn't even have like I've seen some that's literally got nasty scratches on it. And yours really scratch wise is pretty good.
Yeah, it was just it. I don't. It was. It's like somebody had it thrown somewhere and just left it and forgot about it.
Isn't that the way most video games work though? Is people just throw it away and forget about
Yeah,
it?
I have to say, there's some stuff that I don't display that's either sitting in totes or something like that, just sitting there.
And that's
So
the
I
thing.
can't really say that
That's the thing with Doc
I
stuff
don't do
right
the same
now.
thing.
He's got boxes and boxes and boxes of movies and games and game systems. So we're having to, we're literally going through all that stuff right now, and it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it can be because my room, we have to replace our outside spigot, so all my stuff had to get moved away from that corner. Which Steph did a really good job in managing it because it looks better now than what it did before. And I told her, I said, I really like what you did. You made it look better than it did before. If you ever need something redecorated, just let your wife do it or girlfriend or whatever. They'll make it look better than you ever could.
Yeah, but
So,
you and I had the conversation. You hate bookcases.
no, I don't. I like bookcases. I think it's nice. She hates it.
Oh, is she the one that hates bookcases? I thought it was you.
She's the one that hates it. No.
Yeah, if it's done right, like that was one thing in Doc's room. I put two bookcases, and it was kind of in that same corner because you saw what that room looked like when it was my game room, and so we put two bookcases there, and it's got like all his RPG. Literally, it's pretty much non-stop RPG books, and he's got a ton of books. Like I said, we haven't even gotten into his video games really yet. But today I finished setting up his, we'll call it his entertainment center. So we took one of my old table desk, and Alan and Mike had cut about 5 inches off the end, so it fit perfectly in the one corner. And then I cut another 3 inches off the back, so it would give him enough room to actually move a chair properly in front of it. But I mounted his TV on the wall. I mounted a sub TV, a 24. He's got a 40-inch on the wall. He's got a 24-inch. You remember how my corner one was at one point where I had like 5 monitors?
Yeah, I remember that ridiculous amount of monitors.
If I can find a picture,
you had like TV playing on one, and
if I can find, I'm sure I've got a picture. It's on Facebook. I'll pull it up and show it here. But yeah, I had a stupid, ridiculous setup at one point. I had all kinds of TVs, but I kind of did something similar. So he's got a 40-inch straight up on the wall, and then I got a 24-inch on a swivel mount to the left. So that way he can play video games and still have his computer up at the same time. And then we put some rack shelves basically above it that we're going to put a lot of his games and consoles up above his TV. So I'll show a picture. I'll put a picture up in one podcast coming up, maybe after I've finally finished putting most of it together. I got most of it. We just got a couple last things to do and actually get all the consoles set up, but it'll be pretty nice when it's done.
Yeah, something I thought was interesting. We haven't really talked about it. You remember that TV that you gave me?
Which one, the first one or the second one?
Well, we could talk about both if you wish, because the first one actually required me to pay $6 and a little bit of work. It was, it had a couple capacitors and stuff, and of course that was, like I said, I had to do some research, find out the capacitors are bad, and then I had to replace those. But this last one I thought was very interesting because you said none of the inputs were.
I plugged like different HDMI cables, different consoles, TV, cable box, everything come up, no input. I even hooked up coax. Still nothing.
I tried to do a firmware update, and I just downloaded one from Sony. Didn't check and see which version mine had, and it said if it's a newer version, then it would, obviously automatically update, which it didn't. So it asked if I wanted a factory reset, and I did. And I took it in the bedroom, plugged the cable line up, started the channel scan, which takes God forever, and then it started picking up channels.
Yeah, I'll be honest, that kind of pisses me off because right now, in fact, it's the TV I'm looking at. Um, this RCA has a really nice picture, but something's wrong with the audio. It's always up and down. Sometimes it'll even cut out once in a while. But I can't get good audio. Well, it's shitty audio anyway. But like it's because of the shitty speakers. But yeah, I hate this RCA. It was if it hadn't been sort of a freebie, I definitely wouldn't have bought it. But yeah, I kind of miss my Sony. Actually, I miss that Samsung. That Samsung had a bitchin' picture.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
But it's funny because right after you had told me the capacitors were blown, you replaced it and got it working. Mm-hmm. I looked on the wall where the TV had mounted, and I didn't really notice it in the beginning. There was where the capacitors blew. There was a dark ring above the TV. Mm-hmm. It was so weird. But I didn't notice it until, like I said, you had talked about replacing the capacitors, and they literally had blown out, and right. So yeah, you got lucky on that.
Twice now. I have gotten stuff that there was no way I could fix. There was no hope for it.
Yeah, there was some stuff that came through that just I kind of knew it wasn't going to work. But it's fun to sometimes tear that stuff apart.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I love to tear stuff apart. I mean, like I said, my Xbox, when I first got it, took it apart, reapplied thermal paste and everything just because I can.
I actually, speaking of Xboxes, Doc's Xbox, I got to check the Ethernet connection. It will not, like, you can see on the switch in his room, it's passing some data, but it's acting like it's not connected. I've tried different ports on the switch. I've tried different cables. So I don't know if there's something if the Ethernet port's actually bad on the Xbox, or if or if there's a pin that's bent or broken or something.
I don't know. Now, which version is that?
Is an actual Xbox One, the original, the big fat one.
Okay, don't call it an Xbox One. We call that original Xbox. Here's Zeus. He looks scared as shit. I think he's gonna pass out on me or something.
No, I'm talking about new version Xbox One, not the original Xbox. Oh,
so first model of the Xbox One.
Yeah, the first model of the Xbox One, the big fat one. Say hi to Zeus.
Yeah, Zeus, you're on camera, semi, sort of. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in the camera. He's a big baby.
Steph's calling him come here. We don't want you to be internet famous.
And just for reference, we both have cats and dogs, so.
Yeah.
Typically, though, I think
we don't. Unless you want to count some that are slithering outside. But I don't own those ones.
Yeah, I've got.
Yeah, I really think this is an interesting concept and way to go. I don't feel so scripted this way.
Yeah, like I said, we kind of did this one a little more off the cuff, just because, honestly, a lot of the topics we were going to talk about this week was going to be, it was actually a little bit out of date, obviously, because it's been a couple of weeks. I think next week's going to be a strictly gaming conversation. We're going to probably go through and watch all the new trailers. Talk about what we think we're going to pick up this holiday season. So that'll be semi-scripted, but that one won't be like a ton script. Now the question is though, are you gonna buy a drone? Now all these new drones are out.
Why would I buy a drone? I don't need a drone.
I want one, but I can't fathom paying $800 for one.
Well, who can? I mean, if you really think about it. Well, let me rephrase that. Some people have nothing better to do than to spend money.
I would be happy to be one of those people, or I'd be happy one of those people to do reviews on those type of products.
Yeah, wink, wink, hint, hint, that kind of stuff.
Anybody wants to send any products my way, I'd leave my address, but I'd probably get glitter bombs and all kinds of
That would,
you know.
dude, that would be funny. You got to check your mail, and all of a sudden, poof, a bunch of glitter just goes flying everywhere.
What you know is, do you watch? You don't watch a whole lot of DeFranco, do you?
No.
It's hilarious because he's got his wife does a vlog channel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Franco family, and his son's 3 years old, 4 years old, something like that. I shit you not, but they at least send it to his work address, to his post office box for work they send stuff to. I shit you not, people have signed his son up for Playboy. Like he gets Playboys in the mail every month under his son's name.
And how old is his son?
4, like 4ish.
They signed his son up, a 4-year-old, for issues of Playboy.
But like I said, at least it comes to his work. Like I said, his work.
Right.
But it was funny because he's like, I don't know, somebody must have paid some good money. He's like, I think I'm going to read this one.
Yeah, I just read the articles.
Well, now remember, there's no nudity in it now.
And I have not seen one in years, so I don't know. Really? Anyway.
That's what the internet is for, porn.
Well, yeah.
Why pay for it when you get it for free?
Yeah, and I got a tub out in my garage full of them.
I'll be honest, I do not own any porn at all. I haven't bought porn since probably we were getting out of high school. But I don't even have it anymore.
You really don't have any?
I think the few issues of like dirty magazines that I ever bought, I think Alan still has them. I think I gave them to him.
Well, I gotta admit, places like the Lions Den and stuff like that is too fucking expensive to be buying DVDs and shit from.
It is real. It is
and if you
really
buy
expensive.
the cheap little $10 ones, they're like god awful quality. 70s porn.
The 70s, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It looks like shit from the 60s or 70s.
These big old handlebar mustaches and shit.
Bush for days.
That's funny.
Oh.
But yeah, I have not been to a place like that in a long time. There's a guy, a friend of ours. He's a younger kid, and he just graduated a few years ago, and he was talking about the Lions Den. I looked at him, and I'm like, you do realize I'm 33 years old, right? I don't go there. And he's like, well, when I was 18, that was like the best place to go to. And I'm like, yeah, I thought the same thing when I was 18.
Yeah, but remember when we were kids, we lived next door to the.
We did live next door to him. We used to like sneak out in the field and see if we can catch a peek inside of there. That was
always fun. They were always running us off because we were always trying to get a peek of whatever was inside. It was kind of that mystery.
Yeah, it was a mystery because you didn't know what was inside that little trailer.
But yeah, like I said, I don't own any dirty magazines.
I don't know. Mine are just leftovers from what Mom gave me from Alan.
That might be some of mine.
Probably are. Toad over here if you want them.
See there we go. There's the other one.
Yeah.
Saying hi.
There's my little guy.
Let me say that that camera does not do that cat justice. He is a monster cat.
Well, I can try to give him justice. I mean, I'm not a small dude by any means.
he's gonna pissed off at you.
He's gonna freak out on me. He doesn't have claws, so I'm not that worried about it.
He doesn't like to be picked up, though.
Nah. He big Maine Coon kitty, ain't you, buddy?
I will say
we've had him for going on 12 years.
I was gonna say you've had him for as long as you've probably been together.
And he rules this roost. It don't matter whether it's Zeus over there or Bella, wherever her ass is. No, she's not. We all know who rules this roost, don't we, buddy?
But as big as
uh,
that cat is, that cat probably weighs at least, what, 20 pounds at least?
Yeah, he's somewhere between 20 and 25.
And I've seen that cat on the top shelf walking around your kitchen.
Yep.
I don't know how the hell it gets up there. I've never actually seen him get up there, but I've seen him walk around. Oh, there's the other one.
She's deaf, aren't she?
I have her sister.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get Toodles on there sometime.
I'm actually surprised Toodles hasn't been up my ass, but she probably went to bed with one of the kids. Yeah, freaking
right,
Smokey. He, I have a gray cat and I have an orange cat. So I have Smokey and Garfield, and Smokey has been stuck so far up Doc's behind. I mean, he literally has mapped out the corner of his bed. That's where he's at all day long. Zeus
we used to have a Smokey, but we had to get rid of her.
Yeah.
She turned on us. Yeah, in P version, not like she got mean.
Yeah, it was really weird because it was like the cat was fine, the cat was fine, the cat was fine, and it was like you had the cat for a while, and then all of a sudden
like
she just
3.5 years, and then all of a sudden she just started wanting to piss on everything that belonged to Danielle.
That was the weird part. It was only Danielle's. Anything she touched. Anything she touched.
Yeah, it was weird. I mean, she, her clothes and everything, and we tried, separate litter boxes and everything, and it didn't matter. Because we figured maybe I don't know, she was getting tired of sharing the litter box with Buddy and whatnot, and she wasn't having it. So, but I know she went to a good home, and that's all I really cared about. She was a really good cat.
Yeah, it always sucks when you have animals like that. And, it sucks when they die. It sucks when you have to get rid of them. It's like, of course, the bad part was like, we went through this whole thing where we lost a dog and we lost a cat, and I'm like, no more. I'm done. No more. And then I ended up with 2 cats and 2 dogs. I blame the kids.
Come back.
Yeah, I blame the kids. But I'll be honest, I love them. I do, as much as they drive me nuts. In fact, the oldest dog, we were talking at the beginning before we started recording. It's like that dog has been driving me nuts every couple of hours, waking me up, wanting. Because the thing is, he can sort of jump into our bed, but he's not very good at it. He's a short-legged dog.
I was saying he's kind of short to the ground.
Yeah, he's a short-legged dog, and so he prefers to be picked up. But so every time he gets down, then he barks and wants to be picked back up and brought back in bed. It's like I'm just about ready to kick him out permanently out of the bedroom.
Oh wow. Yeah. Unfortunately, we can't do that because Zeus is my dog and Bella's Steph's dog. So Zeus has to go under the covers, touching me, and then Bella lays between us, and she doesn't lay like long ways with her head.
Oh hell no! Her sister don't do it either.
She's doing. It's one of two things. Either one, her ass is facing us so she can dive bomb us whenever she's got gas, or 2, she's laying like long ways and trying to keep us completely separated.
Oh, see, the small dog likes to try to sleep between us. He likes to make sure there's no more children being brought into the home. But Toodles, her, Bella's sister, the problem with her is she'll typically lay on Barb's side of the bed, but she's one of those dogs like she's right here. She's right here up next to you. And my wife's already the kind that wants to hog the bed. In fact, I'm going to probably have to shove her to the other side because she's going to be on half of one and half the other. But when she sleeps tries to sleep with us, and she's up against my wife's side, well, my wife will shift. She'll shift towards me, and then the dog she'll go right, and she'll just keep shoving and keep shoving and keep shoving. And by the time I'm done, I'm being rolled out of bed at 2 in the morning.
She's pushing you away from Barb.
No. She's pushing. She keeps going up against Barb, and Barb gets hot, so she rolls over. Yeah. Barb rolls over closer to my side of the bed. So Barb keeps
pushing you out of bed.
Barb's pushing me out of bed, and the dog's pushing her. Kind of not giving her any room to move. And it's like, oh my god. 2 in the morning, I'm being kicked out of my own bed. On my own side of the bed.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
But yeah, I hate it. That's why that dog doesn't sleep. She usually only sleeps. It's really funny. She's more a face dog, but she can't really get in Faith's bed because it's up off the ground.
Right.
But she'll go in and sleep with Austin. I'll find Austin. His head will be in one part of the wall. His feet will be hanging out the other side. I mean, that kid could sleep anywhere. I wish
I used to be able to do it too when I was younger. Not so much anymore.
Yeah, but I remember you had so much clothes on the floor of your bedroom. You could sleep.
Yeah, I could just lay on them. Like, oh, this is a new
it was
bed.
it was just as good as a mattress.
That's funny.
That drives me.
Yeah, we're about an hour and 16 minutes into this, man. So I think we'll go ahead and stop it here.
All right. We're coming up on our 90 minutes.
Ooh.
Yeah, we'll have some obviously have some podcasts that'll be a little more structured. We'll have some of them that'll be off the cuff. Like I said, this one we just decided we wanted to do off the cuff a little bit. See how it goes. But like I said, next week will be a little bit structured just because we're going to have a whole bunch it's going to be gaming talk. We're going to talk about what we want to buy, what we think's worth buying. Yeah, I mean, it'll be fun. And we do this podcast because it's fun. We're not trying to get rich. I mean, don't get me wrong. We'd love to get rich.
Who wouldn't?
You know, we all want Linus's money. That's the goal. Everybody makes. It's so funny that everybody makes a joke about Linus money.
Yeah.
Of course, when you're building $30,000 7 gamer 1 CPU systems,
Yeah, you got some money. And I mean, we kind of looked up to him and Jay and Barnacle and those guys that have been doing it for a long time and whatever, and have put a lot of effort and money into making their channels and stuff to obviously what they are.
Yeah, and we're still obviously the last podcast was much better in quality, much better in audio. We didn't have as many problems as we've been having in the past, so it's a process. We're getting better. It was a bit of a pain on the editing part on my end, but I think I got that straightened out. But I've changed out. I'm not using Adobe Premiere anymore. I had audio sync issues nonstop, so I'm trying out Hit Film. I think that's gonna be my new editor of choice.
We'll see how that works.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. But we're gonna do another podcast next week, and then we'll go back to a 2-week schedule for the foreseeable future. So, anything else you'd like to add?
I just want to thank everybody that tuned in. Hopefully, this wasn't too boring and unconventional for you, considering how we normally do it. But just trying some new stuff and seeing what works, what doesn't work. But if you guys like it, let us know. If you don't, let us know that too. We definitely need your guys' feedback.
Yep. And anything anybody wants to have us talk about, give our opinions on, feel free to leave a comment in the video. Well, I do look at that stuff when that does come along. We haven't had any yet, but I'm hoping at some point we'll start having that stuff come in. But
right.
I will see it when it comes in. So if anybody wants to hit us up, the social media will be down in the description. I'm at my Twitter is at my Dunn Life.
Oh my God, what's mine? At Saturn Steve D. Can't even remember.
I think it's just at Saturn Steve. It'll be on the screen. Okay. It'll be on the screen.
Buddy, your daddy's stupid. Yeah. He still loves me.
One of these ones we'll do a drinking one. We'll sit and get shit faced on and do a podcast. That'll be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, that ought to be really interesting. I can see that working out well.
We'll do shots. We'll do shots or something. Yeah. Aw, somebody wants some loving.
Do you feel my pain? I'm not touching your butt. Crazy cat.
They always like to show their ass. saying, "Love me, love me."
Yeah, he's staring at me.
Yeah,
I
he
see
is.
him in my camera.
He is staring at you. He's like, "Why the hell aren't you
Look,
touching me right now?"
It's like, I deserve touched.
Get used to it, man. That's what married means.
Anyway.
You should put your head down there and let him paw at your face.
Oh, he was licking my head last time.
That's
what he does.
He can be very adorable, but when he wants to be a dick, he's certain.
He can be vicious too.
Yeah, he can be a real dick, but
he's got some teeth.
He is a biter.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to end the podcast. I want to thank everybody for watching. Hopefully, you'll continue to watch. Like I said, like and subscribe. Our social media is in the description. Everybody have a great day. Have a great week, and I will catch you later.
Later.